We are now honored to welcome our Director of Budget and Finance for the state of Hawaii. Do we see a pattern here? Another Maui individual, Mr. Kalbert Young, to deliver the keynote address. And prior to his appointment in 2011 as the State Director of Budget and Finance, Mr. Young served as the Director of Finance for the County of Maui for 6 years. As the Director of Budget and Finance, Mr. Young serves on the Board of Trustees for the State Employees Retirement System and for the State Deferred Compensation Plan. He also serves as the inaugural chairman for the Board of Directors of the Public Lands Development Corporation formed in 2011. Before beginning his career in public service, Mr. Young was a residential and resort development coordinator for the Kapalua Land Company and also worked in management and finance for Kamehameha Schools. And he's done so many wonderful things for our state. It is quite an honor to welcome our Director of Finance, Mr. Kalbert Young.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Chair and Mr. Vice Chair and new Madam Chair and new Vice Chair for allowing me to speak this morning, giving you this 90-minute presentation on the future of financial markets. I'll be very brief. We talked a little bit about this morning about what Maui can do in terms of partnering with the state. But there's also a tremendous amount of opportunity ahead of us in terms of where that lies with the new year. Although the world did not end, as the Mayans may have predicted on December 21st, they were not entirely incorrect. Look at how much our world has changed in the last 2 months, especially for Hawaii. We no longer have our beloved Senators Inouye and Akaka in Congress. In fact, Hawaii's congressional team went from having one of the most seniority amongst states to one of the least, literally overnight. And Hawaii's local level government is in a state of flux as well. But for these same reasons, we start 2013 with optimism and a brand new landscape. We look forward to a new political changing of the guard. Consider how many of these changes may present opportunities for Maui. And more specifically, how these opportunities mean potential strong partnerships, collaboration, and coordination between the state and the county. Each year, government partnerships and public-private partnerships become more and more critical. They make sense because they capitalize on efficiencies and provide better opportunities to maximize our limited resources. Given everything that has happened or not happened in Washington, Hawaii governments will be put upon to sustain funding of programs and the economy absent of federal spending. As living in a multi-island state has taught us, thriving on limited available resources makes cooperation and partnering vital. To begin, let's look at the changes that are in progress right here at home. We have a new Lieutenant Governor, Shan Tsutsui, a return of a Maui County resident to the 5th floor of the Capitol, the consequential result of which, though, is to be some degree of leadership change in the state Senate. We will also likely have a change in leadership in the State House with Mr. Suki, and while we lose a Maui senator as the Senate president, we may see a return of a Maui resident in a representative into the Speaker's seat. And over the next couple of weeks, there could be additional changes coming. With all these transitions occurring, it is easy to overlook some assets that will provide stability and can buoy us through these changes. Maui Senators Roz Baker and Kalani English remain key members of Senate leadership and have proven themselves to be highly influential in delivering legislative outcomes. Maui's House representatives have had significant leadership positions under Speaker Calvin Say, and a number of Maui representatives are sure to be in leadership positions should the House convene under our new Speaker. Also, Governor Abercrombie has established an administration that over the last 2 years has de-emphasized an Oahu-centric focus of state government and instead has encouraged increased neighbor island inclusion. This is most evident and most recently exemplified in his support of establishing a Maui Lieutenant Governor's Office to complement the Governor's Office already here in Wailuku. And I will tell you that at the executive level, Maui residents are very well representative at the cabinet level as well. These highlight obvious opportunities for the county to work more directly with the state. Altogether, the county has tremendous resources available in both the legislature and the executive branch of state government. What can maximizing these partnerships bring us? Our economy is demonstrating its resilience coming out of the economic recession. Our number one industry, tourism, leads the way out of the economic down cycle, setting 2012 as the banner year for tourism in the state of Hawaii. It was the best year ever for the number of annual visitors to the state, for visitor spending, and for the number of air seats to the state. All of this activity has fueled Hawaii's improving economic picture. As far as economic activity goes, we are doing better than the majority of states in the country. But other than tourism, the economic recovery is still very uneven. Tourism activity for Oahu is still markedly better than on the neighbor islands. Activity in our construction industry, for the most part, is still lagging, although it does show signs of potential improvement. If there were a fiscal cliff, it would have implications on our economy and our residents' and visitors' income. Federal sequestration of Department of Defense alone would impact Hawaii, where military expenditures account for more than 21% of Hawaii's GDP. And while even the state's Council on Revenues has forecasted that Hawaii's tax revenue will grow between 3 to 5% each year for the next 5 years, I will tell you that that rate of growth is insufficient to sustain the current levels of public services that are currently being provided by government. Never before has there been such a dire need or desire to better engage the state and counties in collaboration. In fact, the future of some currently existing government services, either at the county or the state level, may depend upon it. Governor Abercrombie's New Day plan, along with every county in the state, including Maui, has touted a desire to increase funding for capital projects. There is tremendous opportunity for the state and counties to partner here. First, we need more construction on public projects to get underway. Government can help this segment of our economy by funding jobs and by taking advantage of currently low construction and borrowing costs. This is also a long-term investment in public infrastructure. Second, collaboration in this area is needed to facilitate better government-to-government coordination so that the public can more quickly benefit from cost-efficient construction. There are numerous examples of excessively prolonged bureaucratic processes at the state or county levels that have derailed each other's projects. No pun intended. We need to do a better job of coordinating. For Maui, one specific project I would highlight in the governor's budget to the legislature is $130 million in funding for South Maui High School's campus. It is by far the largest single capital project in the governor's budget and represents the culmination of a collaborative working relationship between Senator Roz Baker and the governor. Securing the funding through the legislative process will be the next challenge. But what will also be needed is a substantial amount of coordination between the state and the county to ensure necessary entitlements are satisfied so that construction could begin as soon as procedurally possible. Along those same lines, we could do a better job of coordinating duplicative services. The majority of us would be hard-pressed to determine on-site which roadways are state, county, or even private roadways. But there actually is already a fair amount of cooperation between the state highways and county public works already in practice. It may not be a lot of cooperation at times, but it does illustrate the point that the state and county governments can capitalize more on cooperative arrangements to generate efficiencies in providing government services. In the public-private partnership realm, an opportunity of note is Hawaii Health Systems Corporation and Maui Medical Center's consideration of exploring a potential partnership arrangement with a private healthcare facility provider like Banner Health Systems. Now, I am not saying that the state, the governor, Hawaii Health Systems Corporation, or even Maui Memorial Management is likely to proceed on such an arrangement, as there are a lot of hurdles and issues that must be overcome. But this approach is a tremendous thought shift and exemplifies the degree of partnership solutions necessary to sustain this government system. The state cannot financially support the hospitals in Hawaii Health Systems inventory to the level that they are probably needed to be funded. That is not a good context for the future of Maui's only true full-service hospital within the county. Whether an arrangement and issues with a private entity like Banner Health ultimately makes sense remains to be seen, but there is no doubt that the current state of affairs for all government health facilities is not sustainable. Our community needs to speak out about this or any other opportunity to improve, increase the level of health care and the quality of life in our community. The state and county should also be very excited about the possibilities for partnership with Mr. Ellison on the island of Lanai. Some of the broad vision and objectives desired for the island by its new owner are indeed intriguing. The potential for fostering collaborations between the government and Mr. Ellison's team is exciting personally to me when you think about what Lanai residents can actually look forward to in the future. Similarly, there's ample opportunity for greater state and county partnerships available on Molokai. There is potential to cultivate collaboration that could provide economic sustainability for residents there while preserving the rustic and cultural identity of the island that reflects its heritage and the native Hawaiian culture. Since budget and finance is my realm of responsibility at the state, I would be remiss if I did not talk about the growing unfunded liability problem in our state's pension and health fund systems. This is a $21 billion problem that the state and every single county in the state has a share of that liability. No one is contributing enough into the system to resolve this problem anytime soon. And the ramifications is a future where governments pay increasingly more for these systems at the expense of other programs. As governmental employers, we need to support state legislators' attempts to rein in future growth of liabilities on these systems. The state and counties need to control operational practices like overtime because it contributes to growing their liability. The state must get on a proactive funding strategy to pre-fund its long-term liability in the health fund. And all of the counties need to recommit to annually contributing to the health fund. So in conclusion, as the new era for Hawaii begins, let us always recognize that there are a lot of positives that can be built upon in moving forward. Developing these collaborative and coordinated approaches between government to government relationships implements projects in a more efficient way and makes most sense for taxpayers. Let us seize on these opportunities to build relationships and engage in collaboration between our levels of government and foster improved communication wherever it can best occur. These are critical factors to the future success of our state and our county. We have an exciting future ahead of us working towards cultivating as many opportunities between Maui County and the state of Hawaii as we can. With that, I thank you, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, for allowing me the time to speak with you this morning. It has been a true honor, and I extend my best wishes to everyone here and to the County of Maui for a successful 2013. Thank you and aloha.